Once you've made the doily, you're going to have to starch it so that you can arrange the ruffle properly. So this is what the doily looks like without starching, and as it's a very thin thread, it curls in on itself. There are two types of starch you can use. You can use a sugar starch or else a packet starch. I'm going to be using a spray starch because I'm going to be putting the doily away and bringing it back out again at Christmas, and I'll restarch it then. So the first thing I'm going to do is very, very, very gently press the ruffle. I'm using minimal pressure, and I'm not using a very, very hot iron. So I'm trying to interfere as little as possible with the crochet. It's just a very, very, very light pressure just to stretch the crochet. I've also put the steam on, so I just very, very gently go round and stretch the ruffle. So as you can see, it's quite a delicate touch. You mustn't press too hard, and you mustn't have the iron on too hot. So once I've done the outside, I gently do the center, and now I'm going to pin it out. So I'm stretching the doily gently and pinning it on a board. I'm not stretching it too much at first, I'm just very, very gently adjusting it. And I might have to go around several times to get it right. So I've got a board that's made with several layers of foam, and the foam is from the kind of backing you use to lay wooden floors. So I cut them to size and I pinned them to a board, and then I covered it with a cotton cloth. Another thing to remember is always use stainless steel pins, because if you use ordinary pins they can rust as you're using starch. So it's gently stretching now, so I'm going to stretch it out again. You do this several times until you get it just right. As you can see, the doily lies flat, so I'm gently stretching the center. I don't want to stretch it too tight. If you're using a packet of starch or if you're using sugar starch, the doily will be wet and you might have to stretch it several times before you get it to the right size, because the wet cotton will make it shrink on itself and then stretch out as it dries. So I'm making sure the ruffles are evenly distributed, and I'm still pinning down the center. And once the center looks right, I'm taking a paper towel and I'm making a roll out of it and tucking it behind the ruffle. This is to keep the ruffle stretched when I dampen it, when I use the spray. So it's best never to use too much pressure when you're dealing with lace. Just very, very gentle handling. So I just pinned the roll of paper behind the ruffle so that the ruffle stands up a little bit from the center. And that's the last piece. So once that's done, I'll bring out the spray. So this is the spray I use. It's called Dialon, and it's a spray starch. It's very old-fashioned, but it's lovely. It has a nice smell to it too. So I gently spray the whole doily. I do that to make the ruffle a bit firmer, to make it stand out, and also to finish the center of the doily. It'll get quite wet from the spray. The best way to do this doily would be with a sugar starch, but the reason I'm not doing it is, as I said, I'm putting it away and I don't want to attract insects, or also I would need to wash the sugar out and then redo it at Christmas in any case, so I'd rather just use the spray starch. So I've dried the doily in the sun. Now I'll take the paper rolls away. As you can see, the ruffle still looks a bit rough, but it is stiffer and it stands out now. If you're using a wet solution for the starch, don't too vigorously squeeze the lace, just gently pat it dry. So now we're going to work on the ruffle itself. So I'm gently stretching it again. This is a very, very light move. There's no pressure at all and it's not very hot. So it's the lightest of touches. So now we're ready to use our secret weapon to form the ruffled edge, and that is cotton pads. They're makeup removal pads. You can buy them in any health store, chemist, grocery store. And I gently fold them in half and place the edge of the lace around it in a ruffle shape. So there's no need to squeeze too hard or to push, just very gently place it. It's very important to make sure that the end of the cotton pad touches the center of the doily. Occasionally you can put a pin in to keep it in place. So you gently go around, just placing the pads underneath the ruffle. You can make larger ruffles, smaller ruffles, it's up to you. I just found that the pad was the right size, and then every so often I'll spray it with a little bit more starch because we're going to dry it again. When you see all the work, you wonder how our grandmothers coped with all the extra work they had. They would never have had time to have a job. So as you can see, it comes out pretty nice. There's no forcing or pulling, or you just gently place the rolls and form the lace around it. Occasionally put a pin in to keep it in place if it's moving. I find the lighter your touch, the better it goes. If you try to force things too much, or if you try to pull things too much, then things go wrong. Whereas if you use a very light touch, it just seems to fall into place. So there we are. Now I'm going to spray it again. So I'm making sure the center is nice and flat. And I spray it, so I wet it again. And this time I'll be drying it in the airing cupboard because it's quite damp outside. So here it is, it's dried, and I gently pull the rolls of cotton out, and as you can see, the ruffles in place. With the spray starch, the folds won't stay in as long as they would if you do it with a sugar starch. A sugar starch will definitely keep longer. But as you can see, the lace is dried around the cotton wool and it forms a nice ruffle. So this is what it looked like on the original pattern. The ruffles are larger than mine, so they used larger bits of cotton for it, and they've also used sugar starch. I do think a sugar starch will give a stiffer result, but I don't think mine looks too bad, and I'm quite pleased with the way it came out. I also think that the pattern is very, very delicate and elegant, and I really like it.